This show is clean.
Bison.
Pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Effizode 744. Hi, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on Earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today we hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, the Brewmaster, plus it's the finale of my Into an Interview with the San Francisco band Thick Red Wine. And what is this? The global warming has ended? Mike's Daily Podcast. That's not true exactly, but let's just say it's been extended. Mike's Daily Podcast. Or it may be delayed. We'll find out more coming up in just a little bit. Hey, I had this happen to me yesterday on the show, and it's amazing I don't quit doing this podcast when things like this happen. Valentino tried to introduce two new characters, and they died. One was Martin Mole the Bull, and the other was his cousin, Ditz. Mike's Daily Podcast. Bison Bentley was not amused. And come to think of it, most of the podcast listeners weren't either. Mike's. Hey, you know what? Daily. I went to a fast food place today. Yeah, I never go to fast food places, but I actually went. Why? I'll tell you in just a moment. Look who just walked in. Hi, Mike. It's Benita, the rodeo queen. How y'all doing?
And it's a disgruntled fiddle player. Tell you
What?
I think that fast food is wonderful. I like to buy fast food and then, rub it all over my body. And then I just discard all the fast food wrappers and bags and whatnot, leave it on the side of the road. Tell you what.
Why would you do that? That's just not only unhealthy for you, but unhealthy for the environment and unsightly, disgruntled fiddle player.
You think you all hoity-toity because you know a bunch of words that start with the letter un.
Well, you should stop doing that. You should eat some healthy food. You'll live longer.
Oh, I'm going to live a long time. Don't worry about that.
I do worry about that, actually. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. I make the root beer. I'm the brewmaster.
Brewmaster, what root beer did you make today?
Why are you laughing at me?
Just the way you talk, it can be funny.
I don't make fun of the way you talk. Oh, boy.
No, you don't. But I will try your root beer anyway. Oh, that tastes like beer.
Yeah, it's a new root beer I'm making. It's called beer. Root beer.
Ah, beer without the root.
Why would you call it that?
So I had a couple of gift certificates to Jack in the Box because I had gone to some San Jose Earthquake games, and apparently when they score goals after a certain time during the game, they start handing out two free taco gift certificates to Jack in the Box, which made me wonder, why the hell do they call it Jack in the Box if it's like a hamburger, taco, sourdough cheese thingy place? So healthy for you. And I looked it up, and you know what? I had forgotten. For those of you that live on the East Coast and in the South, I don't think there are any Jack in the Boxes anywhere. I think there's a place called Jack's, but that's not the same. It is where you upload your food to the cloud. No, that's what it sounds like, doesn't it? Jack in the Box with all the Dropbox and that was a tech joke. I'm a nerd. Let me push the glasses way up onto the back, the crux of my nose. There, everything's fine. So, why it's called Jack in the Box? It started in San Diego, by the way, and then proliferated the West Coast. I remembered it as a kid. You'd go there, and it was called Jack in the Box because it was one of the first fast food places where you interacted with an intercom. Before, you'd have to drive up to the actual building, place your order, and then wait there for 10 minutes or whatever, or however fast they make it, 5 seconds, and then they bring you the food. This, by placing the order further down the line to an intercom, and the intercom technology was just exploding then. This is in 1951. This was the whole thing that this restaurant was known for. Its gimmick was that you would pull up to the intercom, which was shaped like a Jack-in-the-Box, and you'd place your order with this faceless person, of course, the joke, and then, place your order and you'd have your food. That's why it was called that. What's even more interesting are all the ad campaigns Jack in the Box had tried to do over the years, including, do you remember when they blew up the little clown intercom thing? They blew it. They made a big deal about it, blowing up the clown. And then they brought back the clown as a CEO. And he's still the mascot for Jack in the Box. And he talks with that really drony voice. And he's actually an ad executive. The voice is done by a guy who is in advertising. He's not a trained voice actor. And he's made all that money being Jack. Mark, that's fantastic. I wish I was the voice of Jack. I think a lot of people do. I didn't even realize you were still standing there. Am I that unimportant to you, Mark? No, I was just kidding. Oh, I gotta go outside and feed my horse Nelly. Bye. To hell with Mike Matthews. Oh, I don't like her leaving like that. I don't like her leaving angry. Let me go outside and tell her to come back in. Benita, I'm so sorry we had a falling out. We should just... Wow! You just poured ice water on top of my head. Yeah, Mike, it's to help support people that can't spell out words, so they have to use acronyms, like ALS. It does not exactly benefit that, but all right, thank you. And you're supposed to tell a bunch of people, first of all, you're not supposed to put ice water on someone else. You're supposed to put it on yourself, and then everybody can see you in a wet tank top or whatever. And then you say who else needs to do it or donate money of $100 and all that sort of thing. What? Okay, well, anyway, I'm glad everything's good between us. It's not. Bye, I'm going back inside. Global warming. Changing topics. The Atlantic Ocean has masked global warming this century by soaking up vast amounts of heat from the atmosphere in a shift likely to reverse in the year 2030 and spur fast temperature rises, according to scientists and Reuters. The theory is the latest explanation for a slowdown in the pace of warming at the Earth's surface since about 1998. It's puzzled experts because it conflicts with rising greenhouse gas emissions, especially from China. Ka Kit Tung of the University of Washington in Seattle and co-author of the study that came out today in Journal Science said, "We're pointing to the Atlantic as the driver of the hiatus." The study said an Atlantic current carrying water north from the tropics sped up this century and sucked more warm surface waters down to 1,500 meters or 5,000 feet, part of a natural shift for the ocean that typically lasts about 3 decades. It said a return to a warmer period, releasing more heat stored in the ocean, is likely going to start in the year 2030. When it does, another episode of accelerated global warming should ensue. Almost 200 governments aim to agree to deal to combat climate change. Boy, there are a lot of prepositions in that sentence. At a summit in Paris in late 2015. And the hiatus has heartened skeptics who doubt there is an urgent need for a $1 trillion shift from fossil fuels to renewable energies. Several previous studies have suggested that the larger Pacific Ocean is the likely site of the missing heat from man-made greenhouse gases, perhaps linked to a series of La Niña cooling events in the Pacific in recent years. Other suggestions for the slowdown in warming have included a rise in industrial pollution that is blocking sunlight. At the same time today, a separate team of scientists writing in the journal Nature Geoscience, this is actually on Sunday, they said that factors including swings in the sun's output and sun-blocking dust from volcanic eruptions may account for gaps in understanding the warming trend. What do you think it is? Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-744-Americana. What do you think of Jack in the Box? What do you think of the cool, do you miss the old clowns that used to talk into? And then they would talk back to you, and you'd be like, oh, that's the clown talking. No, it's the person in the little booth. Like Oz. I remember I used to love that as a kid. Let's go through Jack in the Box and then see the clown. And they made so much money off of me. And now they're a burgeoning industry. worth a couple of $1 billion. Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. You can also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you would like to sponsor the show, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. There is also the website, MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. The Amazon deal of the day is there. Click on that and buy something at a great discount. It helps us out. Another great way to support the show is through the Facebook page, facebook.com/MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST. Like the Facebook page. When I post a new show, share it with your friends. More people find out about us that way. It's a great way to support the show. Another great way is to subscribe to us on iTunes. There's a link there at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com to do that. Subscribe to the show in iTunes, and you can comment and rank the show there, rate it, and more people find out about us if you do it that way too, because it boosts our ranking. There are also links to where to find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spreaker, Mixcloud, Podomatic, Yelp, Tumblr, and Twitter, all there at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com, as well as all the past interviews that I've done, and the blog, and the daily podcast picture.
Into an interview.
I'm speaking with Mike Wojciechowski, and he's of the band Thick Red Wine. And I wanted to ask you, Mike, what was the song that you first heard that made you pick up the guitar and say, hey, I can write a song, damn it, and like inspired you, just made you seek out a guitar?
I listened to a lot of early folk stuff like Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell and that kind of stuff with my dad. Weirdly enough, like when I started playing guitar, I played electric guitar. Like Jimi Hendrix's maybe Little Wing was the one where it was like, all right, I'm in 7th grade. I'm going to be a classic rock kind of guitarist in the jazz band. So that's really where I guess my aspirations should be more than just kind of a rhythm guitarist. Where I was like, I want to do this. It was Jimi Hendrix and B.B. King. Those are the two guitarists that I would just sit in the corner in the basement and play for hours too.
Wow. Aren't they those two really have taught a lot of people, haven't they? They've really lit the spark to so many great musicians.
Definitely, and I think it's been interesting to me because I don't really play blues music, and there's not really any guitar solos in my music. So it's, in some sense, it's been interesting because it's more of that sort of drive to create that I think I still carry with me. Where you look at both of their discographies, and it's gigantic. They have lots and lots of variations of their own songs and constantly writing and playing. So I think that aspect I definitely appreciated from early on.
Now, I want to tell you, Mike, that I feel that there is a musical inside of you waiting to come out, waiting to be born. And that I think maybe it would have to do with it would be a road trip musical. Because you've been in 7 cities in the past 5 years. I think it'd be amazing what you write because your lyrics are just amazing, and yeah, I think there's one down the road for you, so to speak.
I mean, I hope so. I hope I have it in me. I got, like I said, 90 songs to put out in the next few years, so I'm gonna be a little busy, but I would love to be able to get something a little bit more conceptual for a musical. It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe there's a story somewhere that would link some of those songs up to create a 3-act musical. And I see it off Broadway, as in it's debuting in Oakland somewhere or something. Maybe even Podcaster Valley, who knows? But I see that Mike Wojciechowski will do it someday, or he has the potential to. And I love the post that you put on Facebook in May that said, sold 2 CDs and bought a Ninja blender.
Yes, it was a big day,
And I'm glad you're eating healthy, because Ninja blenders you can do all kinds of great smoothies with and stuff.
I just used it this morning, actually. Made myself a really, really nice Ninja blender smoothie. So,
for all those that aren't in California, I just want to say that we have, luckily here in the Bay Area, we've got farmers markets all over the place, and you can just buy fruit and then forget about it and then it goes bad. But just before it goes bad, you can throw it in an Ninja and make a great smoothie.
It's very true.
And there's a song there somewhere too. but it's not as good as Please Turn Off Your Phone while I'm singing. That's different. Well, tell me about Thank You, Based God. This is from the first full length you did, Never Wanted to Be Cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty weird, random song. I mean, I'm definitely a little bit quirky and eccentric, to say the least. But so there's a rapper in Berkeley, California, called Lil B the Bass God, and I found out about him in 2008. Really, where he had put out a song in 2006 about Vans sneakers, and it was like kind of a one-hit wonder rap song on all the radio stations in the Northeast. So I had heard the song when I was younger, and then I found out about him a few years later. That basically kind of typical one-hit wonder story where he got dropped from his label, and didn't really have anywhere to go, so he decided to start documenting his life through MySpace pages and making songs. He would do 4 songs a day and put them up on a MySpace page, and within like maybe 6 months or so, he had about 170 MySpace pages full of music. So, from the perspective of I play folk music, I do indie rock music, it's sometimes hard to get people to understand what the bridge is there, but it's just this idea of like some sort of surrealist consciousness of him sort of just channeling what was going on in his life on a very kind of direct-to-tape stream of consciousness way, where I think that it's commendable. I have a lot of songs, but I can't release them. He's got thousands of songs, so I basically became a huge fan of his work, and after sort of sifting through a lot of the ideas I had about it and how it reminded me sort of the do-it-yourself work ethic that's common in punk rock and just more kind of indie rock scenes of, very community-based, doing everything yourself and having this sort of drive to not worry about being accepted and being different and doing something your own way. I wrote this long 7.5-minute song about him and chronicled his life in relation to all of the concepts and values that I thought really fit in with it. So it's been cool because a lot of people who've heard of him, listen to his rap music, are not per se indie folk fans. Yeah. So it's been cool to kind of get the different genre of people to come in contact with each other, and just kind of seeing people embrace things across different genres is always just a nice feeling for me to know that, we don't live in a world where you only listen to one thing or one type of thing or do one type of thing. It's nice to sort of have that kind of widespread approach of, my songs could, fit in with people who listen to this weird rapper from Berkeley as much as they can with someone who listens to Joni Mitchell,
And has Based God heard this song?
I'm pretty sure, I've reached out to his manager / cameraman who is in Berkeley, and he sent me a nice message.
Oh, cool.
And I think he's definitely seen it. It's been shared a bunch, and it's one of those things where there's only one video that's 7.5 minutes long about his life, and so I'm sure he's seen it,
And you've made a video for this song.
I have, yeah. So it's kind of a mix of me just playing guitar around Austin, and then some clips from his videos. He's got hundreds and hundreds of videos as well. So just kind of try to find the clips that show how he's willing to be different in his videos, and try and make that kind of come through in the visuals. So
I have got to see this. Where can I find this video?
So at youtube.com/thickredwine, it should be the first one that comes up.
Okay, excellent. And he made a MySpace page every day.
I don't know if he was as dedicated as you, Mike, on the daily aspect. I know that he had like 170 at least, you know.
Wow, all different MySpace pages that were like the ones that have a song. It just I'm trying to remember exactly what MySpace looked like. It's been so long.
I know. It was basically like 4 songs on the right, and then there would just be like 500 pictures that like girls would send him pictures that said "I heart Lil B" on them somewhere, holding up a sign. So it would take like maybe like 5 minutes for the page to load sometimes, because it would just be hundreds of pictures, and you know, just one of those things where he started it and had maybe 5 or 6 followers, and then kept doing it, and now he puts out stuff, and it's picked up by all the major newspapers, and he's not signed to a record label, and he still does his own thing. So, you know.
And you're you don't have a MySpace, do you?
I might have an old one, but I don't use it. I need to revive it, you know.
Yeah, MySpace is holding on to all these. It's like a graveyard. People that just abandon it, you know, and they're like, I think I still have a MySpace account. I'm like that too. I had like 4 different MySpace accounts, like one for me, one for a pseudo band that I created, and, you know, one for a cartoon that I was drawing, and now I don't even know if they still exist, but I'll have to check. But you're very easy to find. What's that?
I'm pretty sure that the new MySpace wasn't connected to the old MySpace, so all those people who had hundreds of MySpace friends couldn't carry them over to the new MySpace.
Oh, weird.
How sad is that? You know, if you were holding on to MySpace for 10 years and they tell you, well, you know, we're going to switch over to the new one, and it's a clean slate, you know.
Well, what's weird is when the whole MySpace thing and people friending people, I forget what it was called then, when you got friends and people would have over like thousands of friends. And Dimitri Martin, that comedian with the haircut with the bangs, he did a song. He writes a lot of quirky songs, and he wrote a song about how he's got all these friends on MySpace, and like he's got more friends than anybody. And it really went into the world of how those friends really don't give a crap about you. That they're not really even friends. They're just people that will say, oh, okay, I'll connect with you. And then that, of course, translated and morphed into Facebook, where we have sort of the same situation. But your Facebook is facebook.com/thickredwine. And your website's
correct.
thickredwine.com. You're also on Twitter at thickredwine. And the Homesick EP comes out next month. And your show at the DNA Lounge in San Francisco is a week from this Friday. So check out Thick Red Wine now on the internet. And let's play your song called Thank You, Based God. It is Mike Wojciechowski. Thanks for being on Mike's Daily Podcast.
Thanks so much, Mike.
The story's kind of sprawled out. Well, I guess that I should warn you. Lil B's my favorite rapper. He's from Berkeley, California. I heard him first in 06. He was in a group called The Pack. They were just a bunch of teenagers, real hungry to rap. And their single vans got famous. All the skaters really loved it. Got my Vans on, but they look like sneakers. They preached from their pulpits, but MTV wouldn't play their song. They called it a commercial. They missed something entirely when they made things controversial. 'Cause rap and skating culture are both socially rejected. It might have been a silly song, but it was still about being different. So a record label signed them on the strength of that one song. 2 years went by, the label dropped them, things had all gone wrong. Lil B was shattered, so he came up with a plan to find a more direct way to connect with all his fans. As soon as he found MySpace, that's where the madness started at. 140 pages, he made 700 tracks. And a lot were recorded poorly with a lo-fi punk aesthetic. He talked about his life, got high, and came off schizophrenic. Psychedelic, funny, most important, he was honest. His gift was letting words unfiltered flow from his subconscious. He called this being based. At first I did not understand it. Sloppy and unnerving, sometimes lost and heavy-handed. I know rappers always claim they can find words right on the spot, but no one shares unstructured thoughts quite like Lil B, the bass god. His music is a diary, a transcript of his mind. Spaced out existential, sometimes he won't even rhyme. He talks about his thrift store clothes, how he loves everyone, how people should be positive before reaching for their guns. It comes off kind of like a deconstructive science project, where he can pick apart cliches and forms within his genre. He's got songs about celebrities, he's even made up his own dance. It's humorous and ludicrous, but it's all part of his plan. 'Cause he's got other songs that reach unmediated truths. Experimental hip-hop, he gives his perspective on youth. The bass world is a product of a strong grassroots persistence. His life is a defense of the World Wide Web's mere existence. Sure, there's mediocrity and people will misuse it, but the digital community is the subtext to his music. He responds to every screen name out there as much as he can. Appreciates support, he keeps his music free for fans. I remember when his MySpace pages took so long to load. Girls sent him tattooed half-clothed photos, he posted them in droves. He's got videos filmed in his hometown, blowing up on YouTube. Lives his life on Twitter, if you follow, he'd retweet you. And his fans sometimes might seem a little crazed in their devotion, but something in his music brings out complex, strong emotions. So you can call him terrible, or you could say he sucks, but hatred looks so petty next to all the lives he's touched. Reaching out to us in ways that never happen often. He dedicates his life to making hip-hop's hard shell soften. Ambient and soulful, he's got one disc on a noise label. Spoken word insanity, I heard it when I had no cable. He's a role model for kids much more than popes or politicians, 'cause he lives for positivity and the power of ambition. It's clear he's just a young man out there doing what he loves, not scared or shy to be himself when push comes to shove. So bass god, I recorded this, hoping one day you would listen. A token of my thanks for all the music you have given. You know that if the blogs and critics someday forget about you, I'll be among the millions who are glad that they have found you. Accomplished as an artist, you've earned fans and many friends, 'cause you stand for something special, always worth time to defend. So I say thank you, bass god, for staying honest, staying bass. And when the world won't fit you in, you have to make your own space. 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 You have to make your own space.
Thank you, based god. Thick red wine. As we go outside of the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley, California. Thank you again to Thick Red Wine for being on the show.
And here's today's podcast picture.
The picture is actually very cool. It happened. This really happened. Nothing's photoshopped. I was standing there at Marshall Gulch Beach, just north of Bodega Bay, And Robert Owen Welsh of Welsh in the World took this picture of me. I just happened to raise my hands up a little bit, and all of a sudden this wave smashed into the rock right next to me. And it kind of looks very Sorcerer's Apprentice-ish, like I'm controlling the waves and making them rise up, making the water rise up. It's so cool. I feel like I'm so full of power. But you can see that picture now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Mike, I like that picture because I know that y'all got wet when y'all took it. And that makes you happy? Yeah, I like dousing you with water like right now. No more ice water. Oh.
Benita, stop throwing water on Mike. He's no good when he's soggy. Kind of like cereal.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow, we will bring you the return of the much-loved feature called WOW SCHATZ WOW. We're going to look at some very interesting health news that will help you tomorrow. Plus, we'll hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!
Did you know that I am also the voice of the guy in those Jack in the Box commercials? Try my new root beer at Jack in the Box. Enjoy your diabetes.